Greetings, everyone, from Planet Swag. Hope you guys had a great weekend and all of that. It's been an eventful week for us. I don't know where we're going to go from here. Shout out to all of my government workers who are back to work for the next 19 days. I don't know what to tell you after that, but, get your affairs in order, sis. You got 19 days. That's 19 days to file your tax return for all you W-2 bitches. That's 19 days for you to go and take out a loan and do some savings, because I'm telling you, after this 19 days, sis, after this 19 days, y'all gonna be in for a ride. I'm gonna wait for everybody to get in. Y'all loading in. We here. What's going on, Patsy? Drea? Hey, Jocelyn out in Florida. Lamont's here as usual. Thank you for always watching, Lamont. Eve, Houston, come through, Houston. Kiki, do you love me? Jeannie, Nathaniel's here, of course. I love Nathaniel. Bloom, Darlene, my fave. Hey, boo. Javon, Jessica. Okay, so everybody's filing in. You guys are like here early today. Usually I wait a bit, but I guess I'm going to get started. So, we got a lot to cover. A lot of shit that happened, bitch. I mean, for those of you I did announce to watch the Get Me Roger Stone documentary on Netflix. Shout out Netflix. You got some free promo from me. Not that you need it, but you did. But it's a lot to cover. Now, of course, the big thing is the government has reopened for 19 days. Like I said, sis, this is only because they closed LaGuardia. When they closed LaGuardia, bitch, I was like, oh, we about to get it there. Also, too, the elephant in the room is Roger Stone. Now, the reason why I waited, some people was like, we need to talk about this shit, when the FBI kicked in his door like Biggie and shit. Like, I wanted to go live then, but I think it's always best to do research on these people. I'd already had a working knowledge of Roger Stone, but when this happened, first off, the shit was just fucking funny. You piss somebody off when they willing to do some shit for free, bitch. The FBI agents ain't even getting fucking paid. And they woke up at the crack to kick in your door, bitch. The crack. It's giving the crack of dawn. Alligators might be out in the swamps. He out in Florida, bitch. They waking up early. That's that southern shit, bitch, because ain't nowhere in the hell my ass ain't getting paid. I'm waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, go kicking somebody's door for them to get out later that afternoon. But anyway, so Roger Stone. For those of you who don't know Roger Stone is like the Republican Clive Davis of politics. Like, this motherfucker, like, he has a Richard Nixon tattoo on his back. That should tell you every goddamn thing you need to know, okay? Roger Stone, for those of us, remember when we first started reading the Omarosa book, and we kind of went over what a political action committee is, what a PAC is? Roger Stone helped invent that. Like, this is that guy. He invented super PACs, bitch. For those of you who did not follow me with the first reading, Google Super PAC, bitch, and that'll tell you everything you need to know. So these PACs, basically, he created negative campaign advertising. He's worked with Nixon, Reagan, Bush, the second Bush. He even worked on, now, this was what I found interesting. Remember when Al Sharpton, we don't remember, I don't know, this was fat Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton ran for president in like 2004. I totally forgot about that, but it did happen. It didn't last long, but Roger Stone was on that campaign. So that make you give Al Sharpton a side eye, bitch. I'm looking at Al like, bitch, you working with Darth Vader and shit, bitch. This is like, he is like the chief Sith Lord. But anyway, Roger Stone is that guy. So, indicting Roger Stone, which a lot of people who were close to what's going on in Washington already knew that Roger Stone was going to eventually get indicted. Like, this wasn't news, which is why when he got out on that $250,000 bond, that wasn't news either, bitch. Also, Roger Stone allegedly, even though he has a wife and daughters and granddaughters, is one of the girls. Okay? Which I didn't know that either. You do your research, and I'm like, oh, bitch, this bitch at gay pride parades. You know, he's all about, like, it's interesting. It's interesting to see the types of people that work in these campaigns and how they play with people. Like, I know a lot of these Trump voters and a lot of these, you know, working class, you know, I feel like I've been forgotten white folks that are like, you know, the lower class. You have to feel stupid. Like, you have to feel like an ass. Because when you look at, like, the people who have helped us, like I said over this time, I haven't went into, I'm still working on researching the policies of the Democratic candidates who have announced their presidency so far. We're still doing that special. I'm still working on that, so give me time once again. But when you look at, I challenge you guys to go and look at some of the people that work in these campaigns, that have worked on the Trump campaign. A lot of them, behind closed doors, are gay. They have no problems with marijuana being legal. They smoke hella weed. They really don't give a fuck about the pro-life, pro-choice movements. They don't give a fuck what you do with your body. But they're using these policies to win and make deals. Okay? Now, also, too, this is where the plot thickens, bitch. This is where all this shit is full circle. Roger Stone. Now, remember, Paul Manafort has been indicted. Paul Manafort was still lying to Miller and them after being indicted and making a fucking deal. Okay? Paul Manafort and Roger Stone used to run a political consulting company back in the 80s. Okay? So that's where that 6th degree of separation comes in. So they owned a firm. They low-key, and a lot of this is in that documentary, but also, too, if you do some other research, you'll find some really interesting facts. A lot of them, they invented lobbying. So basically, lobbying is where you have the connect. It's like kind of like being the manager of a rapper, or like the booking agent for a recording artist, where you go to the booking agent and say, I need, you know, Beyonce at this Arabian Prince funeral or wedding or some dumbass shit like that, but I only got 50,000, or I can give you 100,000. That's kind of what lobbyists do, but they're like booking agents and managers for politicians to get shit done for special interest groups. Okay, Google a lobbyist and you'll see what I'm talking about. But basically, Paul Manafort and Roger Stone ran a company. It was Black, Stone, Manafort, and this other guy, Kelly. Okay? So, Roger Stone got fired from the Trump campaign because he was doing too much press. But he really never got fired. Okay? He got fired publicly, but he still consulted Trump low-key. And then he had his homeboy. He recommended his homeboy, Paul Manafort, to be the campaign manager after he got rid of Corey Lewandowski, who Roger Stone did not like. And Corey Lewandowski pretty much helped get Roger Stone fired. And then Roger Stone turned around and got Corey Lewandowski ousted by leaking some fuck shit to the press about Corey Lewandowski. And then I said, okay, hire my homeboy Paul so I can tell Paul dumbass what to do, and I ain't even got to show up for work every morning. The plot thickens, bitch. So then he gets indicted for witness tampering. This is Roger Stone. Roger Stone gets indicted for witness tampering. Okay. and for the WikiLeaks shit. So Roger Stone, they're saying Roger Stone is responsible for, the email shit. All of that email shit that got leaked from WikiLeaks. Roger Stone was kind of cherry picking and getting some of that shit together. Then a motherfucker threatened one witness's dog. Like, who threatens the fucking pooch, bitch? Like, Roger Stone is fucking savage. But here's what I want to touch on. Because we know Roger Stone ain't shit. We know he a savage. We know it was funny as hell when they kicked in the door waving the 4-4. But here's what I thought was so interesting about Roger Stone. And I posted this quote on one of my statuses earlier. Roger Stone says, politics is show business for ugly people. Through our whole time doing this whole cabinet shit, guys, what have we always said? What have I always said? This is show business. He understood that. And when you look at the history, like, I was watching this documentary and fact checking, because you can't really go by everything that's in a documentary. You have to fact check this shit. I'm looking at the documentary, and do you know that Trump had been... I mean, some of you probably do know this, but Roger Stone was like positioning Trump to run for president since the late 80s, bitch. I gagged. I didn't know that Trump, in the 2000 election, Roger Stone had convinced Pat Buchanan to run for president in the Reform Party. The Reform Party is the party that Ross Perot ran on. For those of you, some of you are too young, some of you old enough to remember Ross Perot ran, and he's a big reason why Clinton won the election, because he split the vote between... Ross Perot is basically the Republican Bernie Sanders. Fuck it, I said it. I know some of you like Bernie, but fuck it. Bernie Sanders is the new Ross Perot, bitch. You don't like it, turn the fucking stream off. But facts are facts. Where's the lie? Anyway, so Roger Stone gets Pat Buchanan to run for president in the Reform Party so that he can make sure that George Bush looks a certain kind of way in the optics. Because we live in a country of optics, okay? We live in a country of optics. So he gets Pat Buchanan to run. Knowing Pat Buchanan is a fucking psycho. Then he gets Donald Trump to hint at running in 2000 in the Reform Party against Pat Buchanan, creating this whirlwind of chaos that basically cancels them out and takes all of those Reform Party voters and brings them over to the Republican side. So he basically hatched a plan to get a dummy candidate to cancel out any potential threat from the Reform Party so that Bush could get all of those Republican votes, bitch. This motherfucker, whether you think he's a scumbag or not, I personally think he is. You can't doubt a motherfucker's intelligence and savvy. That's a lot of scheming. That's a lot of head work, bitch. I ain't got it. Okay? So, that cancels him out. Then, we all remember the 2000 election. 2000 election, of course, we had that recount in Florida. So, they called Roger Stone. Roger Stone gets people to storm the voting office where they counting the votes down in Florida to ensure that Bush wins. I mean, at this point, bitch, this whole presidency, it's becoming, you can't do a movie. It's not a movie. It's given week-long miniseries, 2-hour nightly event, FX with limited commercial interruptions, brought to you by Chrysler and McDonald's, bitch. That's what it's given. It's given 5 goddamn, no, bitch, it's given actually series. It's given, Ryan Murphy, stop writing this. I hope you have been writing the script as the events have been unfolding, bitch. I just hope you have at this point. So that's basically who Roger Stone is. Roger Stone is basically the Clive Davis of political theater. He understands how it works. He understands how to play the press. And he understands show business. He's Puff Daddy. It is what it is. So that's Roger Stone. But I thought it was funny. He gets indicted. He gets right back out. Do I honestly think that anything is going to happen to Roger Stone where Roger Stone does any jail time? No. And here's why. Because when push comes to shove, Roger Stone was still very much on the outside of that campaign to a certain degree. And if it come down to his life or somebody else's, Roger Stone is going to give up all the information and not feel any kind of fucking way about it. So the reality is, yes, we got our cackle. We got our laugh. We got our fun little moments. CNN was tipped off. They got the video. It was cute. It was funny. But I don't really think nothing going to happen to him. And he's not the goal. That's just facts. He's not the goal. And he was too outside for it to, like, they want information from him. They don't really want him. Okay? So I know that was a lot to break down. That was a lot to break down. But I want you to understand how this story is unfolding. This is why the government opened. The reason why the government opened is Roger Stone is the Forrest Gump of that whole world. He knows a lot of secrets. He has a lot of allies. He has a lot of enemies, but he has a lot of information. And when you indict somebody like a Roger Stone, that's dangerous. So Trump goes, bitch, we gotta open this government. We gotta get it open. It's no coincidence. A lot of you picked it up. It's no coincidence that Roger Stone's indictment happens and then the government miraculously opens. That's not coincidence, sis. Roger Stone is a bone carrier. He carry a lot of people's skeletons. And that's a motherfucker. And I'm going to be real with it. In the streets, you either keep him paid or you got to off him. Because he'll bring the whole ship down. And that's just facts. Ain't he a queen low-key too? You know how much shit he probably got on these motherfuckers? Oh, hell no. So, he opened the government. They closed LaGuardia Airport for lack of staffing. Now, the government is open until February. I forget the actual date. It's escaping me at this moment. But basically, you got 3 weeks, bitch, to get a check, flip some of that money, open up a CD, do something. Because I'm telling you now, when this extension runs out, he is going to close the government again. And this time, the Super Bowl's not going on. There's nothing, like, he ain't going to give a fuck. That's right, Day. He is the Terry Lannister of politics, bitch. Roger Stone. But I think that it's sad because when this government shut down, because it is, I want you to understand, and I hope that I'm wrong. I hope we go back and we look at this video, bitch, and be like, DDM, Emmanuel, man, he ain't know what the fuck he was talking about, bitch. The government's open. But I know, in my heart of hearts, I'm telling you now, he's going to close the government again. So get ready. It's closing again. Enjoy this 3 weeks. Get your tax refunds filed. And hope that they get these checks out. Because after the Super Bowl, and after the shit is over, he's closing it again. And that's just what it is. The government will be open long enough for you to enjoy your Grammy Awards, your Oscars. Well, maybe not the Oscars. But, you know, you have enough time to enjoy all this shit. It is what it is. And that's that. Now, in other news, Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris announced her candidacy on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. She had a rally in Oakland today. Now, Kamala Harris, you have some people who, you know, immediately was like, sis, your track record. Then you have some people who bring up an interesting point of, well, every politician has voting records that they're not necessarily proud of, or voting records where they've done some things where it's like, and Kamala took a lot of heat initially for it, and she still is getting some skepticism, but she had a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful gowns. Beautiful gowns rally today. That's also the name of my EP, Beautiful, Beautiful Gowns. But she had a beautiful gowns rally today. And it was great show business. With Kamala, I don't know enough about her I don't want to damn this woman, especially because her campaign headquarters are rumored to be in Baltimore, which is great for me, so I can go and be nosy and snoop and see what's really going on and let you guys have an inside look on some of the shit and how I perceive it. Had a beautiful rally. She read Trump for filth. It was a read. The people was here for it, and that was all great. I think it was a beautiful moment. I think as I'm such a defender and proponent and champion for black women. I'm all about having a black female president. As long as we do our homework, because Kamala is a little sketch. Now, I want you to also, for those of you like, her voting record is sketch, I want you to keep in mind with these votes, let me get in the camera, because I need to break this down. When these politicians vote for shit, it's not always what they really think, bitch. Okay? Some of you know that, some of you may not. Okay? It's not always what they really think. So I'm gonna give you that. Some of these votes are deals. You have, and y'all seen Scandal, y'all seen West Wing, y'all seen House of Cards, y'all know how this shit work. Hey, bitch, I need to get this gay rights bill through for my state, and I really need your support on it. All right, bitch, you know I love the gays. I'll vote for the gay rights bill for you, sis, but you got to vote for this gun bill that's getting ready to go down in my state, because I need to make sure that my cowboys can walk around with their pistols in the middle of City Hall. All right, bitch, I'll go ahead and do it. Bam, deal made. They don't give a fuck about none of that shit that actually happened. They just give a fuck about looking right for their people. It's all about the art of the deal. They be making deals. Half of these votes and these damn bills, they don't really care about this shit. They don't really think that strongly like gun control. Like Democrats care about gun control, but they care about gun control because gun control plays to the base that they have. If gun control didn't get votes, nobody would be talking about gun control in the Democratic Party. That's just the fucking fact. If gun control wasn't a sense of like, oh, I want my gun, Second Amendment shit, nobody in the Republican Party would be talking about that. They only talk about this shit because they know that that's a sore subject for a lot of people. And when you have shit happen like Sandy Hook and these shootings and things like that, then that's when it becomes an issue. The minute when shit dies down, it'll be something else. Okay? Now, that's just how it works. So sometimes when we look at now, to me, Kamala, she gonna have to give me one of those little things like in the dictionary. She should do that on her. Well, no, don't do that because that's kind of like shady. But I don't know. I've been calling the bitch Kamala for the last 2 years. Kamala, bitch. So anyway, Kamala, I have to give her. I have to look more deeply into that because we're judging her record because she's one of the first majors out. But some of these other people, the Andrew Yangs of the world, the Julian Castros, the Kristen Gillibrands, these type of people, we have to we got to kind of look at that. And that's why I'm working so hard on this policy episode that I'm doing in the next few weeks. I'm trying to wait for more people to announce, but maybe it's a good thing. that we have. Maybe we can do it in sections, but we'll get to that. But that's why that needs to happen. But I think I say that to say this. Yes, voting records matter, but you also have to look at voting records in optics and through a certain scope and through a certain lens. Because just because a vote... Now, if they got a history, like for some of these career politicians that have been in Senate for 20 years, 30 years, and they've been voting the same way for 20 and 30 years, since that's really what they think. But I'm not going... This is like her first, like, second term. Like, it's not even, like, that long. So, we have to kind of got to look at that with a grain of salt. In regards to that piece of it. As far as the White House itself, I was watching the news, and Sarah Sanders looks like she's finally tired. Like, and when I say tired, like, oh, everybody made a joke, like, oh, she always looks tired, she always looks bad. We know the bitch ugly. Like, that's like a foregone conclusion. But when I say the bitch looks wore, she giving wear and tear, bitch. It's like, you know how a person finally meet that point? Like, it's like when Sean Spicer, when it looked like he was like drunk at the announcements every day, and he started gaining that liquor weight. You know that liquor weight when you be drinking a bunch of cognac and vodka and shit, and you start bloating, and it's like that sweaty kind of like, you know, slimy kind of liquor weight, like Margot Kidder and Superman. It's like that kind of aesthetic with it. I think she's tired. Like, number one, nobody will hire this bitch. Like, that's a known fact. Like, I wouldn't hire Sarah Sanders either. Can you imagine hiring Sarah Sanders for your private company? You know how many issues that's going to cause? You spent the whole year lying to the entire country, sis. Like, nobody at work is going to believe you. I don't even want to leave my lunch around this bitch, because I'll fuck around and come back and my Reese cups be gone out this motherfucker. So why would I hire you for my private company, bitch? Sometimes you got to say no to the check. And I think this is what this presidency, inadvertently, this presidency is a big lesson on morals. Sometimes you got to say no. No, she didn't say. MJ, you said UGLY, she ain't got no alibi. She is ugly. Sometimes you got to say no to the check. And that's one thing that I think we got to look at. Sometimes we look at, oh, it's the prestige, it's the White House, it's this. But is it worth the rest of your life? Because that's how you're going to be branded, sis. Sometimes every check ain't worth it. It's just not. And I think that's a lesson that that we've learned. Now, also, too, I see some of you talking about Beto O'Rourke running possibly with Joe Biden. I like that ticket. I'm not mad at it. But I want to research his ass too. Because, bitch, just because Beyonce wore one of your hats, bitch, on her Instagram, don't mean you the bee's knees either. Because if we going to grade Kamala, bitch, we going to grade your ass too, Beto. Okay? I'm just saying. But I like the idea. Tomorrow, Kamala, I said it right. Kamala is doing a town hall with, on CNN, I think. First town hall about her presidency and what she's running. I need to look at that. I want to see it because right now, just to give you guys a timeline, the presidential election is Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020. So that's next year. That's what, a year and what's it? This is January still. In a little like a year and a half, a year and 6 months, somewhere around there. Which is not a long time. Okay? It'll be here before you know it. So that's why a lot of people are announcing their candidacy now. You always start announcing your candidacy this early because you want to start building that base, start your exploratory committees, things like that. And all of that stuff. It's like training for the Olympics to a certain degree. Now, I want to see this town hall with Kamala to see how she does with that. I'm really watching to see, because post the, Senate hearings and things like that, I don't really have a lot of history with her. I want to see how she deals with the people. I want to see how she deals with press. I want to see how it works. I want to see that with all the candidates. But she the one that's doing the town hall, bitch. So that's why I'm focusing on her in regards to this. This whole race. I think that when we look at where this is all going, it's going to be a fight to the finish. It's going to be like the Hunger Games of politics. I think we're going to see, usually in these races, we pretty much know who's going to run. We know who it's going to end up being. We know who, we pretty much know how it's going to go. And this is going to be a toss-up. I think this is going to be the first presidential election where regions really matter. When I say regions, because electoral votes matter. I mean, we have a president that won based on the electoral college. But when I say regions, meaning how do you appeal to different regions? Kamala has a benefit in that she's from Oakland, okay? Oakland is in California. California houses a lot of electoral votes. California has a lot of influence on the West Coast. So she has that built-in base, which will prove to be very helpful. But in some of these outlier candidates, they really cause disruption. Like I said, Bernie Sanders to me is the Ross Perot of this era. Bernie says he's going to run again, possibly, or whatever. I personally feel like, Bernie, sit your old ass down. Hillary, sit your old ass down. Y'all had your turn. The shit ain't work out for you, sis. Bruh, sit your old ass down. Help some of these other candidates. Help them not make the mistakes that you made. Because when you lose, and with Bernie, he lost. Yes, he did have some issues with the Democratic National Committee, but you have flaws. When you have lost, and you've had multiple times, like with Hillary, it's like, sis, you lost twice. Like, be the woman who you say you are, and help some of these other sisters out. Go say, Kamala, I'm going to support you. Or Gillibrand, or whoever it is that you supporting. Say, I'm going to support you. Gillibrand, the New York representative, help her ass out. Okay? Help some of these other candidates who still actually have a shot. Okay? You keep trying to make fetch happen, and it's not happening, sis. Okay? Help some of these other people who the public haven't gotten to see. Part of the reason why you lost is because you assumed. When you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. Well, mostly you, bitch. Help some of these other people with these people. And you have some people that say, oh, Bernie's so progressive. He's this, he's that. There's more than one progressive candidate. Okay? Let's not get hung up on one candidate. Okay? And I never understood. Here's the thing that I never understood. I never understood in this last election is that for everybody on the left side of the fence who wants all of this change and they want all of this diversity and inclusion, they want all of these things, you keep looking to an old white man to give you diversity, inclusion, and change. I'm confused. I mean, like, really. And it's like, even when you look at the royal family, I'm going to use them as an example. When you look at the royal family, and yes, Hillary did get the popular vote, but guess what? She still lost. She lost with the popular vote. So a loss is a loss. And she lost Even though there was Russian interfering and things like that, and we know that, and that's going to be handled. But she still lost. But that's not the first time she lost. And quite frankly, I have a problem with somebody who feels like it's my turn. The presidency in any elected office, and I'm going to say this shit, and you may not feel the same way as me. And that's fine. That's why we talk. That's why we have these meetings. That's why it's the United States of motherfucking America. But nobody should feel like it's their turn for a public office. The person whose turn it is the person who wins the public and who has the policy and deserves to be there. Not by right or because my husband was the president or because I was the senator and because I took a seat because Barack ran the last time. No, if you go against somebody, it's like being a boxer. Yeah, you won the last time, but that don't mean you supposed to win every time. You got to get out there and fight. You got to go to them battleground states. It's not like owed to you. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Like, the thing sometimes that irritates me with that whole Hillary Clinton thing is like something's owed to you. Like, reading Michelle Obama book and seeing how hard Barack and that whole team fought for those presidencies, even after being in the White House in the 2012 election, they still had to fight for that, sis. They ain't take no sick days and not go visit certain places because, I got them last time. They'll be fine. Okay? It is what it is. And and I'm going to be quite honest, and I may lose some of you with this, but I don't care. I have a full fucking time job. My bills are paid. I don't give a fuck. The thing that irritates me with some of these, and I watched it happen as the campaign unfolded. The thing with the Hillary voters and the new Democratic voters and parties is you saw a generation clash. And you saw a generation holding on to fulfill a promise from 1995 while not acknowledging 2016 and the kids that are there now. And I'm going to go on record. I voted for Bernie in the primary. I voted for Hillary in the general. But I feel like, and how can I say this? And then I'm going to let y'all go because rent comes on tonight and I got to see Valentina. You cannot dismiss what's coming. At the same time, you do have to respect what's happened. And I always look at Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez as that. Like, I love her disruption, but at the same time, sis, you got to know the game a little bit. You got to learn that game a little bit. And Nancy Pelosi kind of brought that home because they started to sweat. A lot of them new Democrats started to sweat when the press started showing their ass and the people started showing their ass. It's different when you actually sitting in that chair. Okay? It's different when you actually sitting in that chair. When you got to actually do the job, campaigning, running your mouth, the flyers, that's all great. You won. Now you got to actually do the job. You did good on the interview. Now you got to do the job. And when it's time to actually do the job, okay, it's actually time to do the job, that's when you find out if you really qualified to do the job. And Nancy, sometimes I'll be like, sis, I don't know. But that bitch held her balls or her ovaries. I don't want nobody to come for me. Old balls ain't superior over ovaries. Ovaries ain't superior over balls. Everything's equal. But she showed why she's the Speaker of the House. She showed why she sit in that seat. Because some of your faves were starting to cave already. And that's all I got to say about that. On that note, I'm making me some teriyaki stir fry, bitch. I got the Talenti in the refrigerator. and I'm getting ready to watch Rent. I will see y'all on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube and follow me on Instagram at GODDM. Y'all have a good night. Stay blessed. Stay warm for those of you on the East Coast. And I'm out.